Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next session of From Nothing, Lorna's story. We are going to pick up right where we left off, right in the heat of the desert, and also the thick of it, as you have delved into these ruins where there was some weird, mysterious things going on, as a panther made of stone led the way. And this is where we pick up. You have just
Oh.
breached the room with an earth elemental and two fire elementals looking at you, Lorna. And in
Mm-hmm.
this moment, well, why on earth did his art change
I
again?
noticed. I noticed that he was a little cat guy. I thought that was very funny.
I don't understand. I
Back-to-back seasons,
just
no good.
fixed it. Okay, hold on. Let me. Okay.
It's not even Thatcher the Hatcher, which is the weird thing.
No, it was
It would have
my
been
art for
crazy.
glass.
It would have been crazy if we busted in here and Thatcher was like, "Kill them."
That would have been a twist.
What? What?
No, that's not what's happening.
Okay.
Instead, what is happening is these elementals being alerted to your presence as you've opened the door. As you cast knock. It's
No, I
extreme.
I dispelled magic on the arcane lock.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
I don't have knock. I don't think. I do
I
have knock.
I
It
like
doesn't
my
matter.
image much funny. My image is
It,
much
it is
funnier.
it is better. I will concede that.
You dispel magic on the door, and as it opens, the elementals turn, and the individual performing some sort of experiment on a large raised sandstone dais turns and says, "Kill them." And that is where a fight begins.
Suppose that's probably initiative.
It is. Roll initiative.
Real poopy.
Poopy.
Poopino. Fucking 4. And I'm right in the way. Love
You
it.
are indeed.
I'm gonna be injured. How far
Uh,
is this ledge, this strip we're standing on?
yeah.
And this opening is
It's the floor
lower.
below, yes.
How far down is it?
It's about a 10-foot drop.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know.
Here's what's gonna happen. Skolna goes first.
Mhm.
She is seeing this fight has just begun. She's 10 feet away from the nearest of these earth elementals and the fire elementals behind. She is going to strike forward with her Frostbrand rapier. She darts up, stabs, and hits. Rolling the damages. Now, she doesn't get sneak attack because she's not an assassin, but it's still a Frostbrand rapier, which she deals 11 points of damage to the elemental. And then she disengages and moves down the steps around the space of the panther.
Very
And as
smart.
she's leaving, she passes you and says, "Good luck."
But I'm last in the initiative.
It's now Nore's turn. Nore, what do you think Nore would do? Would she try to find a spell, or would she try and just deal damage?
Do you think? Well, she's got another boy, like a rocky boy. She got another shatter.
She does have more shatters.
Why not just toss that in there? She could probably hit at least one of the other fire elementals and still do a buttload of damage to the rocky
Yeah, she
guy.
could probably figure that out.
Yeah.
She casts Shatter, and they're going to need to make Constitution saving throws. We're going to start with the Earth Elemental, which is at disadvantage. He rolled... It's a con save. They're very good at that. He rolled a 19. So he succeeds, and the Fire Elementals are less good. The left one fails. The right one succeeds. A moment while I roll damage. Okay, so that's 7 to the earth. Oh, but we vulnerable to thunder. So he takes 14, even though he saved. The fire elemental on the left takes 14. And the one on the right takes 7. And then you hear Nori from behind you say, Lorna, you might want to move.
I'm
bad
on
place.
my turn, I will. Yep. Good advice.
And that was her inspiration to you. You have a bardic inspiration.
Away.
Okay. Tier's turn. Tier. What would Tier do?
Fire and arrow. He's pretty good at those.
Yeah, sure. He just remembered his arrows didn't do a whole lot to the earth elemental before.
That's true.
But
he could get up there with a slicey boy, can't he?
Yeah, he could probably move up. And then... Yeah, he can get here. Drawing his scimitars.
Take some of the brunt from Lorna. So about to get pile drived by this earth elemental.
He raises his finger at the earth elemental and he says, the things I do for my glorious leader. He puts a hunter's mark on the earth elemental standing right in front of you. And he's going to make a scimitar and a short sword attack.
Lorna says, thank you, Meat Shield.
It's not a bad nickname. As his blade misses barely. And then he tries again.
I distracted him.
Second one hits.
Hey.
Okay, so that is 12 points of damage total. And he stays right there. You better remember this.
I remember everything you do for me.
No, you don't. And it's now the Earth Panther's turn. It, coils back and then pounces up through the doorway, ending its turn, its movement right here, and it's going to try and just tackle this earth elemental. And it hits.
Ooh.
The earth elemental takes 11 points of damage, and it must make a strength saving throw. Which it fails. The earth elemental is knocked prone. If I can find that modifier. There it is. And that means that its follow-up bite attack is at advantage.
Good kitty.
Which it hits. So, 25 points of damage. Total. Over that turn. And the panther, you watch as it's pounced on this earth elemental, but it is looking at this man in the back of the room. Its golden eyes just staring daggers at that fellow. It is now this fire elemental's turn, the one next to the panther. It just seems to compose itself as it rises from the shatter, shaking its form. And as it does, you watch as fire licks up all across the stone all around it. And the panther takes 1d10 fire damage just by being near it.
What about the earth elemental next to it?
No, it does not.
Boo.
Okay. The fire elemental then surges forward because it can fit anywhere it wants.
Requiem!
And as it emerges right next to Tier, Lorna, and Anscombe, it's going to multi-attack. And what its multi-attack looks like is it just reaches out with these huge flaming hands and tries to touch. It's very strange. First, it's going to touch Anscombe.
Anscombe has +2 to his armor because of his haste.
Well, it rolled a 10 to hit, so...
Away.
It's going to roll to touch you now. That's an 18 to hit.
Yeah.
You take 12 points of fire damage.
Hey, let me roll a concentration check. Yep, 24.
Okay. And that's its turn. It is now the mage's turn.
Oh.
You hear him say, "Oh, you're back. Did you not have enough? Your experiment was successful enough. I don't mind building you a new form." And it casts a spell. And the panther has to make a wisdom save.
Counterspell.
Oh. I need you to roll a spellcasting check.
Ooh. 29.
You succeed. You see him wind the somatics for a powerful spell. And as he begins to send them forth and he starts speaking the words, the magic fizzles and he looks at you.
She just kind of waggles her finger and says,
I will remember that. That's his turn. Anscombe.
Get in there, Anscombe.
Unfortunately, beginning his turn in the presence of a fire elemental, Anscombe takes 1d10 fire damage. Anscombe takes 7 damage. Okay. He doesn't like the situation at all. He sees... Is Anscombe going to focus the fire elemental on all of you, or is he going to try and push past?
I think he just needs to get rid of this thing right in front of him.
Okay.
I'm just going to wail on it. I know he's got fire damage to his, so that's not going to do anything, I imagine.
It does not, but the longsword itself is still magical. Mm-hmm. So, he swings it. He is flanking because of Tier's positioning and yours. That's a 27 to hit. That hits. Rolling d10. He deals 14 points of slashing damage on the first swing.
Nice.
And he swings again. And hits. Dealing 9 points of slashing damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then he hasted action, swings again.
Yes.
Natural 20.
Yes! Love that guy.
That's 25 points of slashing damage.
Fuck yeah.
And he doesn't have an action surge because you didn't have time to take a short rest in between this as you tried to save the haste.
But no heroic recovery?
Isn't
that instantaneous?
It is. Okay. He has action surge. He will use it. That hits. 16 points of slashing damage.
Nice, nice, nice.
And then he swings one final time.
He doesn't have another hasted action?
No.
Damn.
And that one misses.
Heck.
You only get one hasted action. Action surge just replaces your action.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now it's Lilith's turn. Lilith, so she's starting her turn and is going to take 10 points of fire damage. But she is a tiefling, so she only takes 4.
Away.
When she sees the flames looking at all of you, she says, "Oh, it's not so bad."
I mean, I'm kind of closer to a tiefling than I used to be.
You're still not fire resistant, unfortunately.
Heck.
She's going to make 2 attacks at advantage with Tier's flanking.
Flanking? Mm-hmm.
That hits. Follow up.
I don't think you can
Also
trip
hits.
a fire elemental, can you?
No, it is immune to prone.
It's not even a physical thing.
Yeah. Okay, so she rolls the same damage twice. So that's 5, 10, 11, 22 points of damage on those 2 swings.
Nice.
And then she's going to offhand attack with advantage. And she hits barely, but it's enough. This fire elemental is destroyed.
Yes! Before it got to my turn! Hooray!
Lilith is going to kind of dart her way up the stairs and then acrobatically squeeze between these two, and then gets into melee with this fire elemental, where she action surges.
Heck yeah. Love a good fighter. That's why I have
This is
2.
just a straight roll, but it hits. Okay, 9 points of damage plus another hit. 12 points of damage, so 21 points of damage on her immediate run-up. It's now the Earth Elemental's turn, who's prone. He stands up. The Earth Elemental is quite bothered by the situation before it. He's going to strike once at the Panther and once at Tyr. You are adjacent to Tier. As it is slamming him, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
It misses the panther.
No.
That's a fail, Lorna. You're taking half the damage Tier takes because he hit him.
So he hits Tier into me.
So he hits the ground, and the ground like thunders up into spikes. So that's plus 5, 18 points of bludgeoning damage to Tier, and you take 9.
Okay, I need to roll another concentration check. Oh, I don't maintain. That's not good. Anscombe's haste is gone.
Okay, Anscombe is stunned.
Fuck.
For one turn, Anscombe is not concentrating. He's stunned. Where's the stun? There it is.
Fuck.
All right. That was the Earth Elemental's turn. It's staying right there. The Fire Elemental is going to suddenly, it drops into a plume of flame that surges through all of you. And I need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw, except Anscombe, because he automatically fails.
Heck. 17. Why couldn't I have succeeded? Whatever.
17 is successful. We roll for Lilith. She succeeds. Tier. He fails. Requiem. He succeeds. Okay, so everyone who succeeds takes half of 14 points of fire damage. So Tier takes 14. Didn't mean to close the door. Lilith takes half and half. So 3. You take 14. It's halved is 7. Requiem takes 7. Anscombe takes 14. And the Fire Elemental is now there. It's going to melee strike Anscombe once. If it hits, which it has advantage on, it's a crit. It misses.
Ooh.
I rolled a 17 to hit, and Anscombe's AC is an 18. Lorna, you're up.
Okay. Lorna is going to just see this guy. She can still see him from here, right? Yes.
Yeah.
She is going to grip her staff and do something crazy and new. She's going to cast Wall of Fire 4 charges from her staff.
Okay.
And she wants to place it in a ring around this douchebag.
Okay.
Hot side in. I'm sure his fire elemental wouldn't feel it, but I'm sure he does.
Okay, so you're drawing a wall of fire around him.
20 feet high, 20 feet long, 1 foot thick. Is what it says if you make a ringed wall.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just use a round. That's fine. Like that. And the edges of it is the circle.
Let me just double check. A ringed wall up to 20 feet in diameter, 20 feet high, and 1 foot thick. Yep.
20 feet in diameter. So that's like that. Oh, no,
Sure.
that's not right. It's 10-foot radius is 20 feet in diameter. There we go.
Yes. Yeah, that's perfect. And when the wall appears, each creature within its area must make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. He succeeds. He rolled an 18. Plus
whatever, right? So
plus
it is
3,
going to
so
be
21.
5d8 fire damage or half as much on a success. So, ooh, I rolled pretty good, 29. So half of that.
29 halved is 14. He's going to use Absorb Elements and reduce that to a 7.
I hate this man. I guess he does seem like an elementally kind of person.
Doesn't he, though? Okay. You have a wall of fire suddenly emerging in the room.
It's opaque, by the way, so he can't see through it.
Okay.
For spell reasons.
Understood. Is that your turn? Any movement? Bonus action?
Does she think this elemental has a 10-foot range?
No.
She's gonna back into this corner then. Oh, and Requiem is going to... Can he flank the fire elemental with Anscombe?
Anscombe is not flanking anything right now. He's stunned.
Okay, well, he'll still go down there and bite him. Bite
Sure.
the elemental, if he can.
You can try. Go ahead.
Oh, buddy. 11, I don't think that hits anything.
No, 11 does not hit.
He's doing his best.
Okay. Is that your turn?
Yep.
Okay, we're back up to Skolna. Who would you want Skolna to focus?
Well, Guy isn't visible at the moment, so fire elemental, that's harassing a stunned Anscombe.
Okay, so Skolna will dart up here, up into melee next to Requiem, and will attack with the rapier. She hits.
Woo.
Okay, so that's 7 points of damage from the rapier. To 3 plus 5 cold is 8 plus sneak attack. $13, $19, $21 of damage.
Nice.
Skolna, being a tiefling, sees, Anscombe is literally cooking. And she kind of grits her teeth and stays in melee with this fire elemental.
Aww. She's a good person.
It's now Nore's turn. Nora's going to shatter again. Try and get rid of this earth elemental. She moves up here. And she casts shatter at 3rd level. Avoiding everyone else.
Love her.
And as she casts it, I'm going to roll damage. And the earth elemental needs to make a con save. At disadvantage. 19 on the first one. 12 on the second one. It fails. So it takes 42 points of thunder damage.
I love that for me.
It was looking hardy and intact a moment ago, and now it is crumbling, and bits of it is just falling to dust on the floor. But it is still intact. Let's see. Who is looking... Tier's looking roughed up.
Yeah.
And you're looking roughed up. Nori looks at Tier and she says, "Oh, feel better, you..." And she just cuts herself off as she casts Healing Word.
She's still working through some emotions.
He heals for 11. That's her turn. It's now Tier's turn. "Oh, thank you kindly," he says as he moves to flank the Earth Elemental with the Panther. And he hits the first attack, which deals 8 points. Then the second attack hits, dealing 8 points. So we deal that to it. Oh, and then Hunter's Mark twice. Fuck. I remember my stuff. 8, another 8. And Tier sees that it's still intact, and he will use his offhand attack as a bonus action and stab it again. And hits.
Woo!
Rolling very well with Hunter's Mark.
I love that for me.
The Earth Elemental crumbles into dust.
Yes.
He, flashes his short sword and scimitar in a circle and then looks at them and he says, "Oh, shit. I need to get these sharpened."
They're all chunked from hitting stone.
The Eartha Panther runs up to the edge of the fire and then just like has a very Earth-like growl as he can't get into it.
Sorry.
He's going to hold an action to pounce as soon as he sees the wizard. It's the end of the Earth Panther's turn. The wizard is going to bonus action Misty Step.
Right into the panther's face, right?
I'm going to roll a d8 to see what direction he does it in.
He doesn't know where the panther is.
2, 3, 4. So he Misty Steps here.
I don't know about bitch.
And as he does, the panther sees him appear and pounces within 20 feet.
Yeah, get him.
The panther is going to take some fire damage from your firewall as he does.
It's going to from the interior side.
Right, but he's leaping over this part of the firewall here.
I see.
So he's going to roll a dexterity save as he does it. That is a 22. So please roll your firewall damage.
27.
27.
So
He succeeds. He takes half. 13. Okay.
I mean, I think Lorna would just drop it if the wizard comes out of it.
So
she can't reshape it.
So drop it.
She drops it.
Okay. The firewall vanishes. The panther is pouncing. Let me go ahead and roll that attack. He hits. The wizard must make a strength saving throw. The wizard is knocked prone.
How strong could he be?
Yeah, he's not very strong. The pounce lands, so he's going to land the bite attack on him with advantage. That, I believe, is a hit. It just hits.
Ooh.
The dice have been on your side this fight, it appears.
I love it when that happens.
Okay, the wizard takes 10 points of piercing damage and is prone underneath the panther. The wizard is going to reply by Thunderwave.
Silvery barbs. Oh, does that work?
No.
No, damn it.
Thunderwave is not an attack. If you wanted to counter this, it would be a counterspell.
Mm-mm.
Okay. The panther must make a con save. The panther rolled a dirty 20 on a con save, so it succeeds. So it is not knocked away. However, it does still take the damage from Thunderwave. 10. The Earth Panther succeeded on the save, however, is vulnerable to thunder, because it is an Earth elemental.
Mm-hmm.
So, it takes 10 points of thunder damage total. The Earth Panther is not looking good at all.
We need heals. We want to keep that panther alive. We need to heal it.
It is now Anscombe's turn. He ends his turn and is no longer paralyzed. However, he does take 1d10 fire damage. Anscombe takes 7 points of fire damage. It's now Lilith's turn. She, looks back at you and nods. I don't have anything for that.
Well, then kill the wizard.
All right. She can't make it.
Heck.
So she moves here and draws her bow and starts taking shots. He's prone, so it's a disadvantage. That hits regardless for the first one. Second one hits. She hits twice.
Nice.
Lilith does 18 points of damage with those 2 arrows. Okay. This fire elemental's turn. It doesn't like the fact that it's flanked by Enskim and Skolna, so it fire surfs to you and Nore. I need Enskim, you, and Nore to all make dexterity saves.
8.
Okay. Enskim succeeds, Nore succeeds. So you're the only one who fails. You all take... 10 points of fire damage to those who failed. And 5 to Nore and Anscombe.
Lorna's looking crispy.
As it gets there, it's going to reach out and try to touch you, Lorna.
Ah! I do not consent.
That's an 11 to hit.
That misses.
Yeah.
I have an AC now.
Yeah. Lorna, it's your turn.
Away. Okay. I don't really have any close range. Oh, I have shocking grasp. I could shock this thing. Is it wearing metal armor?
No.
Okay, but am I flanking with Nore?
Yes. I'll give you that.
Yay. I rolled 2 10s for a 21.
That hits.
8. Ooh, 15. Almost max.
15 points of lightning damage, and the fire elemental cannot take reactions.
Oh, then I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, I thought that's why you used that spell.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30. All right, she's there now.
Okay. Requiem do anything?
Owie. Oh, yeah. He is going to cover that same distance to flank with Nore and try to bite him.
Go ahead. Make an attack for Requiem.
Boy. Advantage. Bite the fire. 16?
That hits.
Ooh.
Whoa.
That's me. 15.
15 points of damage. Okay. Requiem's bite seems effective on the fire elemental.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
That's our turn.
It's now Skolna's turn. Skolna is going to dart up. She sees the fire elemental is barely moving. She can't... Well, he's prone. She's not going to take the disadvantage attack. So she just runs up and
stabs. Finish this thing off if she can. Is she flanking?
That hits. Yes. Okay, she thrusts with the rapier, dealing 5, 10, plus 16 damage, and then sneak attack. It dies.
Fuck yeah.
The elemental's destroyed. Skolna turns and then runs into the room. And that's her turn.
Lorna yells, does anyone know how to heal a stone panther?
Nore's turn as she's running in. She, is flashing her lyre and says, I don't know if this works on elementals, but it's worth trying. And that's her healing word as she casts it at a 3rd level, I think.
Sick.
Okay. Hold on. Healing. Normal. He heals for 14, and it goes through.
Fuck yeah.
Thank
you. I'm sure he appreciates it too.
She then is going to wind back her lyre, and she's going to cast Hold Person on the wizard.
Ooh, that would be saucy if it worked.
We'll see if it works. Wisdom save. Natural 20.
Fuck. Yeah.
He
Wait,
saves.
no. Fuck, no! Silver barbs?
That's not how that works. It's on attack rolls.
Shit.
Tier's turn.
Save your panther!
I am. You don't have to tell me what to do as he's running up next to the panther.
I'm backseat fighting.
Yeah. Tier runs up to the mage, raising the scimitar. He brings it crashing down.
Advantage.
Yeah, hold on. And hits, because the guy's prone and doesn't really have a chance here. Okay. first strike deals 8 points of slashing damage. As Tier goes to bring the second slash down, he's got like the blade up by his shoulder as he's loaded his arm, and he looks at the panther, and you see Tier stop for a moment as he's looking at this panther.
He's giving him the killing blow.
Tier does not follow through. He just keeps the sword raised, looking down at the mage. And it is now the Stone Panther's turn.
Get him, boy.
It's going to claw him.
Eat his face.
He's still prone.
Eat his face.
He hits. And for the bite, he hits. Okay, more than enough. What happens next is as Tier raises the sword to bring it down on the mage, he is given pause as the panther looks at him. And from your angle, Lorna, you can't quite see it, but it's clear some sort of silent conversation occurs. Mm-hmm. And Tier steps back slightly, sword still at the ready, and the panther crushes the man's head with its enormous claws. As this mage is destroyed. Ooh. That's the end of combat.
Yeah, good work, everyone. Good hustle.
Aye. Tier's still looking at the panther who's looking at him. In Primordial, Tier says something. Okay. He wants a minute. So, why don't we see if there's anything worth taking out of this place, eh?
Yeah. He wants a minute with the body or just a minute to himself?
I don't know.
I was hoping to loot that mage.
I'm sure you can try.
I don't know, kind of step over and just kind of crouch by the body.
The panther is sitting on its haunches and is looking at the body, but doesn't seem to stop you as you get closer.
Okay, all right. Then I'm going to inspect this mage.
Roll investigation.
17.
A moment. Okay. With a 17, you find a few things. You find a spellbook. You find a journal with a lot of notes in it. You find a Wand of the War Mage +1. Mm-hmm. You find a potion that you don't immediately recognize.
Okay. And
you find a lot of lesser components. Things that you would use, but not for the sort of spells that you know. These are not useful components to you.
Okay.
They all seem to be very much about conjuration magic.
+1. Okay. Can she page through the spellbook and see what kind of spells are in there? Probably elemental spells.
Yeah, a moment. Hold on, let me pull this up. Okay. So, absorb elements and many other like basic elemental spells, Frost Fingers, Dragon's Breath, Chromatic Orb, these all are very much in the spellbook. You also see Mirror Image, Summon Elemental Spirit, which is not a spell you've ever heard of.
Did he make it?
It doesn't look like an officially constructed spell. It looks like one that has lots of notes around the edges. Yeah, you think he made it.
Does she think reason to believe that those elementals that were protecting him were maybe born from a spell like that?
Roll me Arcana.
Mm-hmm. 21.
So, no. Those elementals, those big ones, were the 4th level spell, Summon Elemental. You know that
Oh, does
spell.
she think it's something that like happened to the panther?
Seems like maybe.
Oh, this is
Maybe it
a
was some sort
morally
of...
dubious spell.
You see, it is a ritual spell. It is not the sort of spell one can cast instantaneously. And as you're looking at the spell, one of the components is an elemental.
Oh, no. She doesn't like that. She's not going to, destroy the spell or anything, but she is already thinking maybe I can rework this in such a way that doesn't take the autonomy of a creature.
Okay.
Something that could buffer a creature that is willing to have it done to itself as opposed to
So,
hijacking a creature's form.
with a 21 on your Arcana, and as you're looking through the spell book, you see another spell that feels like it's part of this, only it's definitely one you read about before. It's Planar Binding.
Mm-hmm.
You imagine this Summon Elemental Spirit might be the first step in creating what it was that the Eartha Panther was turned into.
Mm-hmm.
You also see there is a 7th level spell in the spellbook.
Ew. What kind of spell?
Delayed Blast Fireball.
Oh. Terrifying.
Yeah.
That'd be good to have in my back pocket
Well,
in a couple levels.
you also become keenly aware that means there might be a Delayed Blast Fireball set somewhere in this lab.
Oh, okay. Eyeballs, her magic eyes, her detect magic turn on, and she's going to scan the room before she's actually going to tell her party, hold on a second. I need to check something. Don't move.
Roll investigation.
Pretty good. 23.
With a 23, you see that above the stone dais there is an alembic and an alchemist's kit and all sorts of implements used for crafting arcane components, specifically the sort of things that you would use to crystallize banisite and that sort of thing. And behind it, on a little pedestal that looks more like a measuring tool than anything else, you see there is a tiny red bead, and it is gleaming with evocation magic.
Does Lorna think that it needs a trigger to go off, like an appropriate amount of force or something? Like, does she think she could pick it up?
Let's see here. Roll me another Arcana as you're looking at the spell in the book.
Oh, really good. 26.
26. You know that the spell, Delayed Blast Fireball, only lasts for 1 minute.
Out of the room. Out, out, out. She heard everyone out.
Okay.
Move,
Everyone
move,
runs out of the room.
move. What the fuck?
The panther seems confused, and Tier in Primordial is urging. And the panther does eventually get up and leave.
Jesus balls.
Everyone leaves the room.
Shut the door, shut the door, shut the door.
Okay, you shut the door. Nothing happens.
She waits for the explosion and then she pauses and she looks at the book again and reads it more carefully. Are there any notes on how to make it extended?
No.
I want you to know that I was not overreacting. That was a perfectly reasonable response to what I thought was happening.
Okay, yeah, I mean, what did you think was happening?
A delayed blast fireball that only lasts a minute, but it hasn't exploded yet.
Okay. Uh, where is it? Do you know?
She points. It's over there. I could look at it, but I'm worried it's going to explode.
Well, I mean, what's the worst that'll happen?
It explodes.
I meant, okay. Is there a way we can control it or tame it or
I don't
move it?
know. I don't know. Can I take my heroic recovery,
Yeah,
by the way?
everybody can. I'll do that real quick.
It's better than it was. Okay, Lorna's feeling a little bit better and like she might be able to withstand a fireball. She actually she'll look at the party and say, "How about you guys check out here while I look at that
Oh,
fireball?" I want to minimize the damage if it does go off.
all right. And
Just
Tier and
follow
Anscombe,
Skolna's lead. This place could still be trapped.
Skolna nods as she begins to lead the way down. Okay, so your party all kind of just look around out here while you do what?
Lorna is gonna put that mask on, the one that captures your soul if you
Okay.
die. She like basically she's bomb squatting right now. She puts the mask on and she's gonna creep inside and go over to this man's whole setup
Sure.
and try to figure out why this thing hasn't exploded yet. And if it explodes, hopefully she's prepared enough that she won't die.
All right. Roll me investigation.
Okay. God, not very good. 14. I'm pretty sure I used my Vicar boon already, so 14 is my.
With a 14, you're looking at this table set up to create magical components. You look at the strange device that is holding this yellow bead. This reddish orange ball that just looks. So you've seen fireball beads before.
They're on my
They don't.
necklace.
They never look this stable. They never look this solid.
Mm.
And as you're looking at it, the little holder, it's not actually touching the bead. The bead is floating between 3 prongs on this holder.
Is there any markings on the holder to make me think that there might be some sort of factor there that's stabilizing it? Like if it was removed, it might become unstable?
What language did you speak?
All. Well, I read all language because of my invocation.
Okay. You see that in Undercommon,
I also
on
speak that.
on the prongs of the holder, you see the numbers 1, 2, and 3. 1 per prong.
Mhm.
You see that there are all sorts of inscriptions on little glyph stones near the holder that are set into the table at precise locations. And as you're looking at them, you begin to understand that their positioning in this sphere is a siphon. The bead, it appears, is slowly having its magical energy being siphoned away.
Okay. Does she think she could there's like some tangible path she could follow to indicate where this magic is going or if, for what purpose?
Uh, yeah, as you're looking at the table, you see that near those glyph stones, there is it's like a long copper tube that runs almost the entire length of the table. And one side of it, the closest side to this holder and the glyph stones, the copper is a little bit malformed and burnt, as if it was exposed to extreme heat. And then on the far side of the copper tube, it suddenly runs up into what looks like a little stand, like a tiny little burner. And in that stand, in that holder, you can see there was a location for something to be held. And you recall when you opened the door, the mage snatched something up quickly.
Oh, she's gonna go back to him and look specifically for like a hidden pocket that or some other place he could have stashed something.
You've already looted everything from this body.
Okay, you're right. Is there a place you can see around where he had been standing that he could have tossed it or stashed it?
I mean, it's pretty messy in here, but most of the refuse is old parchment and clothes and linens and
She does have her detect magic active, if that helps. Like if whatever it was had a magical essence or something, it might stick out.
Hold on a minute. Right. Go ahead and roll me a... What am I looking for here? Do you proficient in alchemist tools, or glass blower? No, what tools are you proficient with?
Painter's supplies. That's it.
Roll me a straight intelligence.
Okay. Pretty good. 21.
With a 21, you're looking at the table and the various implements that are there. You're looking at what's on the ground, and you see suddenly there are a lot of glass, a lot of broken glass just scattered about. And they all look like they were the remains of small vials.
Mm-hmm.
As you look around the room, you see there's actually hundreds of them. Maybe thousands. Which is a little alarming,
Weird.
considering.
Mm-hmm.
But then you remember that on his body, you grabbed a potion that you don't recognize.
Yep. Okay, she'll pull it out. What kind of magical essence is it giving off based on her detect magic? If it has any magical
Transmutation.
That's my forte. Can she, like, take a space on this table and cast ritualistically identify?
What are you casting it on? I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
On the potion?
Okay. Yeah, you can cast identify on it. And eventually, like, as you're doing this, your party, like, files back in.
I think we're okay.
And Nore walks up next to you and basically is like, what you doing? As you're doing this ritual.
I'm not... So, my brand of arcane prowess is not in distilling and alchemy and this conjuration sort of things. Right, so I'm trying to kind of figure out...
Real useful.
I'm trying to figure out what he was doing here, and I think I'm getting somewhere.
As you ritually cast identify, you understand something important. Firstly, the potion you're holding is incomplete. I'm going to describe it for you. It looks like the glass is slowly, like, it was at one point clear, just a cheap vial. They're a dime a dozen.
Which is why he has thousands on the floor.
This one, the vial looks like it has been melted a little bit. and the glass is scorched to obsidian at the base. Inside it, the fluid seems like it's constantly churning. Except as you look closer, you realize it looks more like liquid flame.
Yeah.
Your identify tells you this is the beginnings of an elixir. You're not entirely sure exactly what it would do, but your identify is telling you it's called Ember Draft.
Ember Draft. Has she heard of that name before? Does this feel like this weirdo's kind of special work, like that spell was?
Roll a history check. And I heard you gasp as if you just
I
realized
did. I
something.
had a thought. 25. We'll get there in a second.
Okay. With a 25, you've not heard that specific name before. But you have heard of people trying to create elixirs that change the primordial rules of things. Potions like resist fire, potions of resistance to cold, potions that give you abjurative effects by changing the nature of who you are.
Oh. So Lorna's working through right now is he's trying to make like a permanent fire resistance. But per my gasp, as I forgot that she found that potion, I also forgot she found a journal. So she's gonna pop that bitch open, and try to see if he's written anything, which he probably has if he was taking notes like a good wizard, to see if this will reveal anything about his projects here.
Okay. A moment here. Let me pull up these notes. So as you open up the journal, you notice that its pages are warped with soot. Edges are burned and crisped and sandy, and lots of dust are falling out of it. You see that transcendence lies not in form, but in dissolution, is a phrase that comes up a lot. You see that he outlines his belief that elemental forces are not just building blocks of magic, but primordial truths, greater than gods and older than the planes. He writes a process he calls the rite of internal elementalization, the bonding of a soul to raw primordial magic. Repeated mentions of transcending the arcane by shedding the constraints of schools and spell levels. He has bound dozens of elementals to flesh, his own and others. Some succeeded temporarily, and others combusted or dissolved. Refers to some minions as burn-sculpted or ash-knit. Many were conjured from unstable gates to the plane of fire. And then, as you're looking through, you see the Ember Draft mentioned. You see the word Ember Draft, and it makes you stop. And he spent years refining a mixture capable of infusing a mortal body with the flame's essence. Several early failures are listed by name. Volunteers or captives. He references the seal hidden beneath the ash, claiming it hums with buried intention. He suspects the tomb of Sigur Rhain acts as a natural focus for ancient binding rituals, one that he wishes he could understand in his own primordial practices. The rest of the book is very scorched. Many of the pages are stuck together.
He was really excited about his work, I guess.
It seems like it, yes.
So, is there any like speculation on his part on what could finish this draft, this Ember draft? Or is he like not sure?
Hold on. Let me pull up that. Ah! Yes. You see he comments on crystallized elemental hearts, pulled from failed conjuration subjects, small, faintly glowing core crystals of fire, stone, and water. You note that he believes if he could get the essence of 3 crystallized fire hearts and 1 crystallized air heart into that elixir, it would be finished.
Does he write why he hadn't finished it yet? Like he was having trouble sourcing the materials?
Doesn't say.
Maybe he had just gotten to this point and then we just kicked in his door.
That seems to be the case. However, you do see, like, on the table are things that what he described as crystallized elemental hearts. They are these glowing crystals of various colors.
Hmm. What can she make out? Maybe which ones he does have and how many?
You see 2 fire hearts, 1 stone heart, and 2 water hearts.
She's gonna take those. Slide them into her bag.
Okay.
She's actually gonna slide all of his apparatus into her bag, like all of the
just twinkling as you
these
pour
are
it.
mine now.
Okay.
Because, maybe she'll take up a new hobby.
Oh, I see. Okay.
This is cool. She's not going to do, like, inhumane experimentation
Okay.
like he was doing.
Please, in your inventory, add alchemist supplies and a primordial alembic.
Primordial. How do you spell that?
Alembic.
A-L-E-M-B. And then it was 2 fire hearts, 1 stone, and 2 water. Is that correct?
2 fire, 1 stone, 2 water.
Got it. So theoretically speaking, 1 more fire and 1 air.
And as you are doing this, you hear Nore and Tierre are like talking as they're looking over the walls of this ruin. Hey, do we know where this is?
What do you mean?
Like where we are right now? Because it feels important.
Lorna read a name in the book that he was talking about. Does she think that that name might be this location, this crypt or something, this tomb?
Do you remember the name?
He said it pretty quickly.
So is that a no?
No, Echo.
Okay.
No, I do not. Can you tell me what it is? It's in the book.
You look at the book and you see the name Segure.
S.
Segure.
Segure what? Like, did it have like a...
No, he was referring to it like as a person.
Oh.
In the note. You don't see the full name.
She just looks over and says, Segure?
What you see and what they are looking at is on the wall are mosaics of serpent-like elegance clashing with legions of enemies. Each scene frozen mid-movement in tiny shards of lapis, copper, and sunstone. And across the arched ceilings of this ruin are frescoes of this woman at the head of a charging line, sword raised high under a painted blue sun, or seated at tables, like war tables, mapping over strategies with golden eyes in the same woman's face, narrowed over maps inked in what looks like blood and hope, is what the fresco seems to be trying to imply. And then around all of that, you see iconography that you would recognize as old depictions of Tyrus.
So look at Norrie. Does this ring a bell? Like some story you've heard? Some history? Does the name Sigur ring a bell?
Norrie thinks for a moment as she looks around, as she rolls a religion check. She rolled bad.
I can't do anything about that.
That's not a name I know.
Well, we can add it to the pile of things that we want to check at the Arcanum when we head back.
There's writing here.
Oh, where?
She, points at the basis of this stone dais. And you realize it's not a stone dais. It is a sarcophagus.
Oh. Okay, can she read the writing?
It is in Draconic.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "Here rests Sigur Rain, blade of the blue sun, whose ambition fed the goddess and whose victories stilled her wrath."
Blade of the blue sun. Who's what?
Whose ambition fed the goddess and whose victories stilled her wrath.
Oh.
You see that around the base of this dais, almost hidden amongst all the garbage and broken glass, you see there are long dead offerings of polished gemstones, rusted weaponry, and broken serpent figurines that arrange at the foot of the tomb.
So he just was like, good enough for a table.
Yeah, he didn't give a shit, apparently. And as you're looking around, you look up and you see above the tombstone, above the sarcophagus, a round skylight is carved through the ruin above and bathes the tomb in sunlight during the day, casting sapphire light from a still functioning crystal that you can see in the skylight. It appears as though this crystal is meant to mimic the blue sun or create an image of it. And you see almost on the surface of the sarcophagus where that light has burned away the dust is a perfect circle.
Okay, so he set up shop in a tomb? Pretty irreverently, I see. But I guess he didn't grave rob because it didn't interest him.
Yeah.
I suppose we probably shouldn't grave rob either.
That's not a good idea, especially not for what looks like a follower of Tyrus. She's not the forgiving type.
No. I think we're probably fine to take anything that this weird mage has left, but I think we should probably leave the religious iconography intact.
Over near the door, Tier points out, there's this is a unsettling one. Hold on.
That Stone Panther really likes you.
Yeah. It's a image of, I guess it's Sigur. Was she a Yuan-Ti?
Is it the same face as the other depictions of
You
this
look
woman?
over and yeah, it is. It's the same face.
I guess maybe.
Well, it just says the only enemy I ever feared, Kal Naroth, who would not yield to dream, blade, or god.
Can you spell that?
Kael apostrophe Naroth.
Kal Naroth. All right, guys.
When you
Groupthink.
say
Does
the
that
name,
name ring a bell?
every time the name was said out loud, and when you say it again, the room seems a little darker.
Okay, we should stop saying that name.
Okay? It's
What have we learned?
Don't say names, ever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But does that name ring a bell to anyone?
Roll history. You and Nore are the only ones who have a chance.
I rolled a natural one. Lorna did not take her religion very seriously.
Apparently not. Okay. What you hear from Nore is Nore basically like sighing, and she says, "Okay, right, that name was thought to be a demon,
Oh, gods.
one that was at odds
Most
with
recently.
holy orders. Yeah, now that you say gods. I don't know a lot about him. That's something we might want to look into if we want to know.
Sure. It's on the list.
I've just heard the name.
Mm-hmm. Lorna's gonna poke around in these small rooms just to see if there's anything worth taking that isn't, that wasn't in the tomb before this douche showed up.
Hold on. Roll me an investigation.
Sure. Can Skolna help me? Or can I help Skolna because her rolls are better?
Sure. Skolna, you can help Skolna.
I'll give her advantage.
The two of you begin to like sift through these side rooms, and yeah, you find a few things. They don't look entirely together. It looks like this ruin hasn't been burglarized, but as Skolna like comes with you to look in here, rolling investigation. You said with advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You find lots of little offerings of small things left to honor the dead. And in this case, the dead being Segura Rain, the champion of the Blue Sun, you and Skolna quickly deduce that this is her tomb, and that she
Mm-hmm.
was a paladin, a champion of Tyrus. You see, like, all over the place in these offering rooms, depictions of battles and great deeds that Segura Rain was known for. And then in one of these corner rooms, you find a tome.
Mm-hmm.
It is written in Draconic. So Skolna just looks at it and then hands it to
Lorna takes it and pages through it.
you. See, it is the Talon Sky Canticles. It is a collection of verses, prayers, and trial songs. The Talon Sky Canticles are half scripture, half war manual, delivered in a style both poetic and commanding. It seems like it's a sacred tome that there are parts of it, just as you're glancing through, it looks like it was transcribed down from oral traditions. And in the book are illuminated mosaic scripts that are illustrated. And you understand quickly that this text is dedicated and split into 7 wings, each wing representing a different domain of Tyrus's will. Do you keep looking?
Yeah.
Okay. You learn as you're looking through it, the Vigil at Dawn is the first wing, and it has poems and battle hymns and such on watchfulness, duty, and signs in the sky. The second wing is the Rites of Flame, invocations of sacred fury and cleansing wrath. The third wing is the binding of flame to flesh, metaphorical and literal instructions on harnessing elemental power, often by martial
Oh,
champions. The fourth
that tracks.
wing, the pact of tooth and scale, an oath-bound framework of loyalty, fealty, and challenge. The fifth wing, the feast of fire, commentary on wealth, indulgence, and honoring of appetite in proportion to purpose. The sixth wing, the tale of the azure eclipse, a mythic allegory of the time Tyrus nearly turned from the world and what brought her gaze back. And the seventh wing, the roar beyond suns, final prayers and battle songs meant to be recited before death or acts of great risk.
Okay. She will look at Norre. You might find this interesting.
Oh, sure, an ancient book pulled from the tomb of a paladin. Absolutely. And she takes it from you. Just
Do you know
dust pouring off of it.
is before she asks Norre if she can read Draconic, is it reasonable that someone from Terracona would probably know Draconic?
You would that's pretty common.
She would not ask then. and assume that if Norre couldn't read it, she would tell her.
It only takes a moment, and then Norre says, "This isn't in common."
Oh, shit.
I can't read this.
Okay. Okay. Well, maybe we can have like a story time by the fire. I can read it to you.
Okay.
It's really cool.
Perhaps I can teach you how to be a storyteller.
That would be fun. I don't think Tears would have a problem with us using this book because it's accessing important aspects of her worship. What do you guys think? I don't know. I'm new to faith. Would it be rude if we took this?
Well, no, I don't think it would be rude so long as you ask permission.
That's a good idea. What would you think Tears would like as an offering?
They all kind of look at each other.
There's
And
like
then they all look at the body of Eris.
That's a great idea. Oh, is his name Eris?
I guess.
Did it say that in
I
the
mean, you
book?
saw that in the journal. Yeah, his name is Eris.
All right. She will kind of look at one of the stronger people, Lilith, and say, "Can you help me drag this body?"
Lilith, like, cocks a smirk at Anscombe, and she just goes, "Oh, sure."
She was closer.
And Lilith just...
She wants to put it at the foot of the sarcophagus that he used as a table.
Okay. Yeah.
Just
Lilith and
face
you
down.
just pull the body of this mage, Eris Sylvanth, over to the tomb. And as you lay it there, what do you say?
Lorna will just kind of shut her eyes, but then think, maybe this will be better. And she'll look up at like the blue disc in the ceiling. And she will say, I know we haven't spoken before, Terrace, but I didn't agree with what this man was doing to a tomb of your champion. We offer you his body as an offering. New to prayer, sorry. I was hoping we could take this book of your canticles in exchange.
Hold on. Okay. Roll me a charisma plus proficiency check.
Okay. 17.
17. There is a melody that begins to ring as you make this offering. It is unsettling a little. And you hear, "I have no use for corpses, but I watch what you do with them. If you strike in my name, let the death be loud. Let it be seen from all heights. Lay the helm at my altar. Place the blade in my hoard. Etch the last breath into the stone. A whispered kill earns no fire. A clever trap earns a flicker. But a bold kill, a needed kill, that burns, and I will see it. Tear down a tyrant. Outwit the wicked. Protect what claws cannot reach, and let all who live know who you serve. Then bring me nothing but the tale, and I will keep it in sky-colored flame. And you will burn with favor.
That was pretty metal.
Is that what Lorna says?
She turns to the party and she says, she's not really impressed with this corpse that we just, happened to kill in this tomb. She really values action. A good story.
Oh. I guess that makes sense, considering.
Oh. How about she'll look at Norre? Sorry, go ahead.
Does that mean you can take the book?
I think I have an idea on that. She'll look at Norre and she'll say, "You don't speak Draconic, but I do, so maybe we can work out one of the songs in this book together and sing it."
Okay. You want to sing?
I'm definitely not classically trained, but I think I could probably do fine.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Can she page through this book and find a song that she feels, or a tale, a rhythmic tale that is appropriate for the kind of thing that they've experienced here?
Roll investigation.
Okay. 18.
You find a song called Let the Ash Bear My Name. And it goes, a blue star burning far and wide. Watcher where the bold ones died. Eyes of flame on mountain steep. Count the foes I dared not keep. Steel is shattered, oath is met, blood still fresh and purpose set. No coin I bring, no gem I claim, but victory etched in fire and name. Let their banners rot and fade, let the tale be sharp as blade. Strike I did with teeth unseen, with wrath as bright as ever been. So mark this ash and mark this soul, a deed devoured, a hunter's toll. If this be worthy, take it whole. Let the ash bear my name.
Yeah, that's the one. Do you think we should set him on fire? Do you think that would be suitable?
I think that's exactly what that song means.
Okay, well, let's burn him, sing, and leave.
Okay. And Norre, looks at the song that you found.
Mm-hmm.
Can you write this in common?
Yes, she will. Well, she'll take out her own piece of paper and write the translation next to it so they can sing it together.
This song comes from the Canticle of the Third Scale, which is the binding of flame to ash, metaphorical
I thought it was flame to flesh.
It is binding of flame to flesh. I misspoke.
I wrote it down.
Tyrus is a god of very specific flavor. Okay, yeah, you You prepare the body to be burned, and you transcribe the spell. All while this is happening, Tier has been, like, next to the panther having a quiet conversation.
Does it look like he cast Speak with Animals again?
Yes, it does.
That's smart.
And
Might as well use the spell slot.
as this is happening, Tier turns to you, and he says, his name is Iravain.
Iravain?
That's his name, the name that he was given by the Tao that created them. He wants to know if all of us should be willing to have him as a traveling companion.
Lorna like does a giddy little jump and clap. She says, "Yes, that sounds like a great idea."
As soon as you say that, you feel a connection. And psychically, in your head, you hear, I appreciate what you've all done for me.
We're happy to help.
I could tell your companion was empty.
Yeah.
Now that the vengeance is cleared, I feel more at ease. You all seem warm.
I hope you're happy with us.
I think I will be. What is your name?
I'm Lorna.
Lorna. And that's just like, you kind of get this nod, basically, and you realize that everybody else in the party is having the same conversation mentally with this panther.
Introducing themselves. Lorna will annoyingly ruffle Tier's hair.
He doesn't... You see he has a small smile on his face, but he's not, like, making eye contact. It's clear he's focusing on thinking at this panther.
Yes, and she will continue to bother him while he is focusing.
You hear Tier say out loud, now, Iravain can understand common, so
Hooray!
we can all talk to him.
That's great. That's spell slots.
I think that was part of it, he said, was about saving energy.
Does he want to help us burn this body?
Immediately, Iravain the panther, like, goes up to Lilith, who had a torch in her hand, and just takes it out of her hand.
All right, well, let's
Take that
get
as a
this
yes.
on the road.
Hold on, I'm pouring oil. And Tier is pouring lantern oil all over the body. You and your group all kind of, like, having had this happen. Norre and you have this song prepared as the panther and Tier are pouring oil and then about to light it with a torch. If you and Norre are singing this song out of the third canticle, I need a performance from both of you.
Do I get an advantage because of Nori?
She's going to give you a bardic inspiration,
But
you don't have advantage.
Okay. Let's see how good. I've never really thought about Lorna as a singer, so depending on how she does in this performance, kind of cements her skill level.
Okay.
And does she have a D8 for her?
Yeah,
bardic?
it's a D8.
She rolled an 18 plus a D8.
A dirty 20.
So a dirty 20. She's a pretty good singer.
Together, you and Norre sing this song, which has this slow, very purposeful tempo and melody to it. It's almost like as deliberate as a song as like the sound of silence, the way it comes out.
Hello, darkness, my old
Exactly.
friend.
And as it comes out, the flames that the panther cast about with the torch and the body just immediately begins to burn. You watch as the flames almost immediately turn a pale blue.
Hell yeah.
And the smoke, which is thick and black at first, is vanishing as if something is inhaling them.
Mm-hmm.
And as you sing the song, you watch the body of Eris Sylvanth, the man who desecrated a tome dedicated to a paladin of Tyrus. His body burns to ash faster than you think is mechanically possible.
Mm-hmm.
As the body is condemned to ash, you see that all that remains is a small pile of ash that is burnt in the symbol of Tyrus. A coiling dragon around a sphere. It's black and white, obviously, because it's just ash, but you get the image.
Okay, I think we are good here. Don't you all?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Well, what time of day did they enter the tomb at?
Like,
We walked for a couple hours to get there.
it's like 3 in the afternoon when you entered, so it's like 4 now.
Okay, we can still get a bit of distance before we have to put in for the evening.
Yeah, let's get moving. I don't like the idea that we've been here quite this long, but the lady deserved our respects.
Agreed.
Now let's get the fuck out of here. It's come that seems eager to leave. And with that note, all of you leave the ruin and get back following Tier on the road towards, well, Shona.
Does Lorna think Kona is closer than Shona? Like, should
Not
they
at all.
divert their course a little bit? Okay, so they're going to Shona first.
Yeah, Kona is actually like much closer to KO.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. As you're making your way, go ahead and roll me a D100.
Yes, sir. 29.
With a 29, you notice, firstly, that the winds are picking up. Sand is getting pulled up off of the dunes and blown towards you, and it's making navigating very difficult. That being said, Irivane the Panther is having no issue navigating and is assisting Tier in leading the way through the desert. And while you would normally lose some time because of this weather event, because you have Irivane, you do not. And you proceed as normally. And as we proceed on to the next evening, that is where we will call tonight's session.
Hooray!
So you got a cat
Yeah.
and a book, and you've managed not to piss off a god. Well done. I'm very proud of you.
The character growth for Lorna as far as religion goes.
Character growth.
Character growth. It is there.
As we come to the end of the session, I want to thank you for playing with me. I hope you had a good time. And to those of you who are at work or at home watching, hi Penn, hi Emily, hi class, hi everybody else. We love you all, and I wish you a good night.